funny, Chris Dim was having issues with it and printing something out or trying to get his employee review done.
Trying to print a single page and ended up with 4 pages every time.
You know what I just did? Now, this is a really bad mistake, and I could just see it coming. I knew this would happen one day. Up on my computer, people who work in an office probably will relate to this. There are little icons, little quick things like open a new document or, save, the little floppy disk icon. And one is print, so I can do a quick print. I just hit the little printer icon and it prints out. Well, today I was trying to open a new document, just get a little blank page up there. This happened 10 minutes ago. And instead, I accidentally hit the print icon, and they're beside each other, and which is a recipe for disaster because whatever then is up there, it will start to print. And I had, our attorney, Lisa Lanier, joins us on Fridays. And anytime we have a legal story, I just save them on that. It's called Lisa Lanier Stories, and I just save them for her. Well, it's 232 pages.
Oh, no.
So when I hit the little quick print icon, all of a sudden it starts just spitting pages out at me. And then I had to try to figure out how to cancel that. And that's not good. It's still whirring away back there. So I'm wasting ink and paper. So
that's currently still going.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be going for
Do you have enough paper in your printer at this moment to complete the task?
Yeah. I had just filled it up, so it probably had 200, maybe 300 sheets. I mean, it'll be close. I mean, there's 232 pages, a novel back there that's being printed. I couldn't believe it. I looked, and it said 232 pages.
You save a lot. You carry a thick file around with you.
I do. I have a thick file. Yesterday, I had seen this story.
So it makes the show different, Biggie.
That's what makes this show
the thickness.
Different.
It reminds me of...
Thank you. So finally,
the thickness.
The thickness.
It reminds me of...
That's right. That's right.
Chris Dim, you wouldn't get this, but in The Crown, the Queen gets a box every day with all kind of files in it. And that's what it reminds me of. Like, we should get Chris Kelly a box that says, Kells. And then he can just open it each day.
What's in the Queen's box?
All the business of the government.
What does she receive every day?
What is?
All the workings of the government, any news, that kind of thing. And it's actually in the beginning, they tell her, the stuff that they really don't want you to see, the actual important stuff, is on the bottom.
Right.
So always flip it over and start on the bottom, not the top. They're going to put fluff on top.
It's true. And it's a big, thick,
it's a thick file.
That's what sets us apart. Thickness. Thickness is where we
Get
go.
that on camera. Thickness.
Thickness is what sets us apart. Yesterday, in fact, the most memorable part of this program yesterday is a story I had seen 4 months ago and carried with me from place to place for 4 months, knowing that eventually it would come up. And it did, because it's a story that it doesn't even matter when it happened. A young woman had trouble telling her right from her left because she had some sort of an issue. She had some sort of a mental block when it came to right versus left. So she tattooed an R on her right hand and an L on her left hand so she could always just look down and know right from left, because she was terrible at it. She couldn't do it. Directions were awful for her. Now, Dave Aiken spoke up and said, she's childish, she's immature, she's ignorant. That was the word he kept using, ignorant. Boy, did he get... People thought he was talking out of his hat. They went at him yesterday.
Very rare does Dave get actual angry hate mail sent to us.
Yeah.
And across the board. And what people said was, even when we proved you wrong... You stayed with it.
Kept on coming back.
Because people were like, no, it's real. It's part of having dyslexia. It's 20% of the people have this issue. Nope, you're ignorant.
You are dumb.
You're dumb. And this girl was 23. He's like, she's immature, she's dumb, she's young, she's stupid. And I was really surprised how many people said, oh, no. This is a real thing. And I got an email. I got
very upset people.
Hundreds of people said, I have it. My wife has it. They can't tell right from left. And one person called and said, my wife is a PhD and she can't tell her right from left. And Dave Aiken said, she's ignorant.
He doesn't back down.
No.
What a rarity.
Very rare.
That's a bad position to be in. I have done many times where on this program I've made a statement and been proven wrong, and yet stayed with it. Just continue to bore. No, I don't believe. I continue in with that with no evidence backing you up. It's hard to do that. But he said, and I sort of respected it, he doggedly stayed with it. Well, then one of our coworkers and friends who speaks on a lot of topics. She's loud. She comes in and she talks about a lot of things. And I think she knows it about herself, that she will say, yeah, I talk about it. I talk a lot and I'm loud with it. She came in and gave Dave holy heck over this because she can't tell her right from her left. And she came in what Chris Dim called a tour de force performance, put Dave in his place while he was in his office.
My husband can tell you the same thing as can my kids.
That's what
I don't know.
I don't know my right from my left.
Ignorant.
He did. He called her down.
Even in person, he didn't back down.
He did not back down. There was a woman who emailed and said, you know what you should do? She can't tell her right from her left. So what she does is she just remembers that her watch is on her left hand. She wears a watch and she wears it on her left hand. And she's a problem solved for me. I just look down and I know which one it is because it's got the watch. You don't have to get a tattoo is basically what
I got lots of emails saying just do the L with your finger.
With your finger. Yeah. That's our friend who can't tell right from left is Josie. And she.
Why am I not surprised?
She was giving Dave a lot of guff.
Oh,
yesterday.
man.
If I could pick one person in the building who it would affect,
it was her.
she would have been on my list.
She came in
number one with a bullet.
Oh, she's barking about it.
Of course.
And she says she looks down, and yes, if you put your hands out, the left hand will form an L, and the right hand will form a J, and she just remembers L for left, and that's how she knows her left hand. T-Bone, you're talking about knowing your left for your right, and a possible new slogan for this program. Yes, sir.
No, I've got y'all's new slogan.
What is it?
Two guys named Chris, where thickness makes the difference.
I like that.
Put that on a shirt.
Where thickness.
Put it in the store.
We got thickness going for us. Thank you, T-Bone. It's the thickness that makes the difference. I many times thought to myself, this story's never coming up. This tattoo story, woman doesn't know her right from her left. And months after I had saved it in the pile of thickness, here it comes.
I'll tell you, it's a real glimpse into you and your wife's relationship, too, to me, because you've accused her of being a hoarder.
Yeah.
And she likes to save things.
Yeah.
But you are, but in a different way. You're like a story hoarder.
A story hoarder.
She keeps things in your house.
Yeah.
But, like, she would probably die if she saw your packet, your folder.
All the packaging.
Because you just have things in there from forever.
Forever.
That's why I can't. I inside baseball, but it's hard for me to get you to delete things out of our system.
I won't.
Like sound clips and stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll look at me and you'll be like, I don't even remember what that is. And I'll be like, I know. And you'll be like, but don't delete it.
That's right.
We'll need it someday to make Dave look like a fool.
You'll never know. You never know when it's going to come up.
We've had one thing up there for years.
I know.
I mean, close to a decade now.
I know.
That you will not delete. And I don't even think you know what it is. I don't even think I know what it is anymore. It's number 2.
I know number 2. I know old number 2 over here. I know exactly what it is. It can't be played during the pandemic. I know exactly.
I made a mental note about old number 2.
I know number 2. I know exactly what it is. It took place in Canada, and there was a street fair going on, and a guy was performing on the street in front of 1,000 people, all gathered around him closely. You know, this probably was 8 years ago, and.
Way pre-pan.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. And I have it on the list. I have it right here in the packet.
In the thickness.
In the thickness. But when it comes up, I can't pass it off as, oh, this just happened because there's 1,000 people gathered around this guy in Canada. So that's I cannot say.
You'll never believe what happened in Canada today.
Which is your natural inclination.
Yeah.
It is.
Not just keep the thickness, but lie about it.
Lie about it.
Lie about it.
So this,
What a commitment to the listener.
I have to wait. It's probably going to be 2 years before I can get it.
Oh, yeah. I think that thing's going to see the decade mark without a doubt.
I figure when I'm inevitably fired on our last show, I think I'll get to that story, which has been sitting there for that long.
You know what's funny? I've accidentally deleted it so many times that I have it bookmarked on my computer.
Come back
for
and
when
get
I
it.
have to roll it back
Roll it back in. You know, a former mentor taught me that. He was. I used to work with a guy named Jack Murphy. Taught me everything in this business. I mean, he was my mentor for sure. I was at his knee learning this stuff. And one time, he was asking a trivia question on the air. Just, you know, he had not run it by me or anything. He was asking a trivia question to win a T-shirt or something. And it was shortly after the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So do you know how they used to have the All-Star Game in Major League Baseball would be played on like a Tuesday night, And on Monday and Wednesday, all the players would have a game off. So there was no sports, professional sports. I think it was even before the WNBA was a thing.
It had to have been.
It
yeah.
was. So there was literally no professional sports on the Monday before the All-Star game and the Wednesday after the All-Star game. So that's the only days of the year, I believe, that there were absolutely no sport. Even on Christmas Day, you got an NBA game. On Thanksgiving, of course, you got the NFL games. So he was asking a trivia question. What happened in sports yesterday that only happens 2 days a year? And that was it. You know, what happened last night that you will not find in sports other than 2 days of the year? And so he did the question, but he had it in his thickness. And so it was about a week after the game. So there were plenty of Major League Baseball games the night before. So I said, what's the answer to him? And he goes, no sports were played. And I said, well, I watched the Red Sox play last night.
Yeah, there were 12 games.
Yeah, and he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, well, you saved that question, and it's time sensitive. So we're a week late on that question. So and this is his brilliance, he came back on the air, and he goes, for this trivia question, I need you to pretend that it's last Thursday.
That was his brilliant fix.
That's who taught you everything?
Yeah.
Explains a lot.
Because this was like, at least a week to 10 days later.
Yeah.
I need you to pretend that it's Thursday, July 9th.
Okay.
And so, because all these people were calling with all these odd answers.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not it. It's that there were no games played. He's like, what are you talking about? I watched baseball last night. Yeah, that's right. But he's pretty brilliant. He's a pretty brilliant guy when we got into it. It's the thickness that does it. And the technology.
And just a hint of deception.
Always. That is always worked in. Now, I didn't say, when we did that tattoo story yesterday, I didn't say when the woman got her tattoos. It was a few months ago that she got her tattoos.
You see this woman in Canada?
Yeah.
You open it like that,
That's
there's
right.
no time.
Do you know, I'll tell you something. I saw some more tattoo stories today. One of them even made the Hot 5. It's about Justin Bieber. And there's one area of his body. He said, I'll tat every single inch of my body.
He pretty much has.
Except this. He's like, I will not tattoo this part of my body. I've got it coming up. It's not here yet. There's a whole tattoo segment coming up because of these tattoo stories. He also says, this is the Hot 5 too, his life got significantly better when he learned to say no. This is Justin Bieber, who said, I used to do too much. I used to always try to please people and fulfill obligations I didn't need to make. So understanding how to say no was where my career took off.
You're almost 50, and you still can't say
I
it.
can't say no.
No.
I always say yes to everything. That's right.
Biggie says yes to everything, and then
tries to
says
back.
no.
Yeah, then
That's
I
what
say
I try
no.
to do. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Biggie will give you a firm yes, no.
I should say no up front more.
Of course.
That would be my thing.
As soon as I say yes, I start thinking, how can I get out of
Oh,
this?
yeah. As soon as I say yes, I regret it. I'm like, oh, God, why did I do that?
I know.
How did your meeting go yesterday with the pimento cheese?
Wonderfully. Well, I have secured the pimento cheese business.
All right.
That's right.
Did you secure any pimento cheese, though?
Yes, I did. He sent me home with 2 pints of pimento cheese, and I fell off the wagon. Yesterday.
Well, as our friend Avengers Joe has pointed out, the wagon's left.
It's gone.
Yeah,
You're
there's
not
no
even
wagon.
on the wagon.
I was dipping into that pimento cheese on the way
I
home.
figured you would, yeah. I figured they handed you crackers with it.
They did. I met with
Captain's wafers or a saltine?
a saltine. I met with the king of a pimento cheese empire yesterday, and he rained it down on me, and I loved it. I loved every second. I was bathing in pimento cheese yesterday.
That's right. They have a couple varieties, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And the hot was...
Did you tell the
Hot,
wife
that's the
they
one,
sent you
man.
home with one?
Yeah, I did. I ate the hot on the way home.
That is the one.
That is the one.
I love it.
Let me just tell you, it's called Conrad and Hinkle, and their pimento cheese is just really, it's over the top good. It's his grandmother's recipe, and the store's been in business now 102 years. It's in Lexington, North Carolina. That's where I went yesterday, and Conrad and Hinkle is the name of it. And he told me the store's been in business 102 years, and I said, and they're closed on Wednesdays, and so you're in that store and you just feel like it's, he's got that feel of being 100 years old. And I said, when did you start closing on Wednesdays? He goes, well, we used to be open, But then in World War II, we decided to close it.
Wow.
To save energy, and it just never came back. It's like, oh, okay. So in the 40s, you start getting bored. I do it half day in the 40s, and then later I was like, all right, just close it. Just close it on Wednesdays. But that was good stuff. That was really good.
Yeah.
I appreciate you asking about that. Here are the other hot 5 topics. We only had 2 that we were going to cover today. The Biebs, which I mentioned a minute ago.
I can't believe you're patting yourself on the back for that one.
Got that one. Well, tattoos. I felt we'd been talking about tattoos yesterday, which really was, I couldn't believe how many people couldn't tell their right from their left, and that woman had tattooed herself. Then Marvel is on the Hot 5 list today, Hot 5 topics that we're discussing.
This is something I know about. I don't know when you have it. I don't want to ruin it. Chris Dem and I have been debating this.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Black Widow.
Yeah.
You knew this.
Yeah, Chris Dem and I had a debate on what is going to happen. Would it ever see Disney Plus? Or would it make it to the theaters first?
There you are. The pandemic-delayed standalone Black Widow film will be released simultaneously in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access on July 9th. Was initially supposed to debut on May 1st of 2020, but it has been bumped all the way to July of 2021. Mm-hmm. I think it needs a theatrical release because of big screen for something Marvel. You don't know? You don't think?
I said from the start, I think they'll end up on Disney Plus, and it will. And let me tell you, I'll buy it. I'll spend $20 on that.
But it says it'll also be in theaters.
If you want to go see it in theaters, you can.
You'd rather see it on...
Yeah, I got a nice 60-inch screen.
Look at Biggie.
Yeah.
4K. I'm good.
You're not going
If
out?
he had a choice, where do you think he's going to go?
Yeah.
You're going to stay right there in your
sofa.
home.
Spend $20. Boom.
Mm-hmm. But you could see it in the theater for
$10.
half that.
Yeah,
and better quality.
Yeah, but once you get snacks, that's 20. Plus, this is not a Marvel movie that I'm dying to see.
Okay.
It's not a major movie.
Okay.
She's not a major character.
Black Widow?
Yeah, she's good. It's going to be fun to watch, I'm sure. I think they made this decision, though, because they've had 2 Marvel series on Disney Plus lately, and one just premiered last Friday and got record ratings for Disney Plus, the highest streams Disney Plus has had.
Really?
That's the show called Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And I think once that happened, they were like, oh, man, let's just
do it.
Let's just move it to the platform and charge people. I bet it'll be, $20, $25, and we'll still have by July, you'll have a bigger crowds in theaters, so you will have people who want to go see it.
You don't think they'll just put it on Disney Plus to see for people who already subscribe?
Oh, they're going to charge you $20 for it.
But they didn't with that animated movie I saw.
No, but they did with Mulan.
And if this were a movie like, say, a new Avengers movie, would you want to see that in the theater since it's a bigger one you're really interested in?
I would probably want to see that in the theater because I care more about that.
So. By the way, Regal is reopening. The Regal theaters are reopening. I want to say when here. They're a couple of weeks, I believe. 50% capacity, April 2nd. They've announced a phased reopening, first at 25% capacity, then at 50%. They closed all their theaters on October 5th because of coronavirus.
Now, if memory serves, when I used to go to theaters, that was the one where you have to pick your seat ahead of time. And for people like me, it slows the whole process down because the young person selling the tickets, like, where do you want to sit? And they flip the screen around. You're like, oh.
I never liked that.
And it's like there's X's and O's. It's like a tic-tac-toe game. Are the X's taken or the X's available? I don't remember. Codes at the bottom, sir. I want to sit next to someone.
I don't care.
Can't I just pick a seat? It's noon.
Yeah,
there's no one in the theater but me and one other guy.
Can't you just walk in and go, I missed that about that? That to me is, I didn't ever like that.
I think that's Regal.
I believe you're right. I believe Regal does that. I don't know if others do as well now, but Regal is the one that introduced that. And I think AMC theaters are they're back, aren't they? They're open, I think.
Some.
I haven't been to the theater in so long. Anthony, you're talking about streaming versus theaters, a debate we've had on here a few times about these movies. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'm a streamer. Because this movie, me and my wife would take our 2 grandsons to. So that's 4 of us. 2 of them, they're both teenagers. They eat snacks like crazy. It'll cost me more in snacks than the movie.
Yeah, that's what Biggie's saying. Once you get your snacks. Whereas Biggie's alone, and he's still going to have to pay 20 or 25.
Yeah, but I mean, he's right. If you're 4 people.
That's different.
Yeah.
Because you're paying at least 10 per ticket.
Yeah.
And that's $40 right there.
You may say I'm a streamer, but he's not the only one.
Thank you, Anthony. It's like the world is joining him.
I've said this for years. I'm winning.
You are winning.
My
Yes.
side is finally.
You are.
For a long time, people fought it, but my side is winning.
The world is coming to Biggie's door.
It's true. It's true. Thank you very much, Anthony, and enjoy
the
movie.
picture.
Enjoy Black Widow, which is coming out. You're exactly right. You are the man that is leading us right back to the couch.